All right, I am back. So we're going to talk more about N-Serve equipment, but for those of you that are John Deere or those that are Case IH fans, I hope you're enjoying the view. What you're looking at is a custom tractor where we will be making custom applications of anhydrous and N-Serve. Everything is waxed up, cleaned up, it is ready to go. So what we want to talk about specifically is direct injection systems. And this is a system that's on the toolbar where we can put N-Serve in the anhydrous right on the toolbar. So by doing that, we bypass having to put the N-Serve in the nurse tank at the plant. Instead, we're putting it on the field on the toolbar. So let's take a closer look at some of that equipment. Standing here in front of this toolbar that has an N-Serve direct injection system on there. Why would you want a direct injection system? Well, some people that are going to do variable rate nitrogen applications prefer the direct injection system so they can get the exact amount of N-Serve they want per acre as their nitrogen rate possibly varies across that field. There's other people that maybe don't want to put N-Serve into their nurse tanks, so this is another way of getting that product in with the anhydrous. So some basic things you're going to find on the toolbar is you're going to have the tank that's going to hold the N-Serve. There's also going to be pumps, and normally we're going to inject the N-Serve into the anhydrous after the anhydrous has gone through the cooler, but before it has gone through any sort of manifold or distributor. That's the point where we're going to want to inject it into there. Now, some basic maintenance that we need to do with this system is going to be very similar to any sort of N-Serve pump. Okay, those things are going to be at the end of the season. We need to properly maintain, so we flush out the N-Serve and then fill that pump with kerosene, a product that's going to lubricate the pump, the seal. It's going to keep air out. That's going to be the best thing you can do for that pump. Other things you need to do is check your hoses, make sure that the hoses are in good working condition, make sure those hoses are made of the right material for N-Serve. Keeping the pump calibrated on the toolbar is also going to help with accuracy. And then some other just funny things to watch for, or other things to watch for when it gets cooler, is going to be some crystallization. So if we go through some extremely cool conditions where we're going to be below roughly 26 degrees, some people will sometimes add some methanol to their N-Serve, and by adding some methanol to it, that will prevent any crystallization from forming. The rate will depend on how cold it's going to get, typically somewhere between a half a pint to a pint of methanol per gallon of N-Serve. Keep in mind, if you do that, you will need to recalibrate your pump so that we're maintaining the 1 quart of N-Serve per acre. So that's something to think about. Also, some folks have a system, or they have another feature that some people have on their toolbars is they've got a smaller second tank that they'll keep methanol in. And so in the morning, after a cool night, they can then flush the N-Serve out of the pump and make sure that there's no crystals or there's any issues with flowability. So that's a step we can take to ensure that there's going to be no issues with the direct injection system. The last thing I would say to pay attention to is when we have some of our first cool nights, just take a look at the tank and make sure that there's no ice anywhere in there. If for some reason water had contaminated the N-Serve, when water and N-Serve are together, water will sink to the bottom. So if you come out in the morning after a cool night and you find an ice cube at the bottom of the tank, you know that there's been some water contamination, and that is what's going on. Occasionally, I will hear of a situation like that. So those are some things to watch for and some steps you can take to keep your direct injection system working properly.